You are now tuned in to another episode of Black Girls Den Podcast, brought to you by Alicia's Productions. Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Den Podcast. I'm your host, Alicia. I'm so excited that you have came and tuned into another episode of the series Small Town Girls but Bigger Dreams. If you are new, I hope you stick around and you like it. And if you aren't new, what is up, homegirls? This series is all about turning lemon into lemonade, and that is why we are drinking lemonade. Yes, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I need a Minute Maid sponsorship. Let's sip to that one.
That's good.
Yes, it is. I am so excited for our next Small Town Girl with Bigger Dreams guest, Dee Dee. Woo, 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 woo. Dee Dee Cunnings is a professional dreamer, author, therapist, attorney, and mom from Louisville, Kentucky. She founded Makeaway Media to create diverse, hope-filled stories for children and adults, and is also the founder of Louisville Book Festival, which I did attend. It was really great. Her work is centered on healing, literacy, and the power of starting over. She's been featured in Forbes, Essence, US Today, and NPR. Dee Dee was appointed twice to Kentucky's Early Childhood Advisory Council by the governor of Kentucky, and her newest children's book is called Hope in the Nick of Time. And she even wrote a How to Dream motivation guide for dreamers. So I love that. So welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I didn't realize you recorded so late. It's like with Candy versus late night show.
Oh, yes. Speaking of choices, I'm trying to get to a late night show too. Period.
But I'm here.
Yes, it is late. With all your jobs and everything like that, I was just like, I don't even know. Lawyer, author, mother. I'm like, woo, therapist. Woo, that's a lot of hats. So I love that you're able to balance it and everything. So let's get into the topic of the episode. Make sure you like this video and share with your friends, okay? And if you're a dreamer, listen to these questions and ask yourself these as well. So, what's one goal you've set out that you have already achieved?
I think it would probably be being an author. For like 20 years, I wanted to write, and it was always something. You always feel like you need these big chunks of time to write, and you don't really need big chunks of time. Just start writing on your lunch break, just 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Keep a notebook, jot down all the ideas you have, don't lose them. But yeah, I always thought I needed like weeks to write. And so I never had weeks, I never had days. So it took me 20 years, and finally about 10 years ago, I said, I'm just gonna get one story out into the world. And I had a goal of writing a children's book. And it was just the first one that floated to the top of my mind. It was called Love Is, and it was only 70 words.
Oh, okay.
It's a poem. And I got it illustrated, and I turned it into a book, and I put it out into the world. This is before, like Amazon and Image and all that really took off. And so I figured it out, and I did it. And once I got a copy of that book, I knew I could do it. And I have it. It's like a faucet turning on that you can't turn off. Once I wrote that book, I just haven't been able to stop. So now I've written 20 books.
Yes, okay. I love that. So you just got to start what you got. I love how you said that, like, in between time, because everybody's on. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're on everybody else's time. It's like your lunch break, a little bit of time, because you don't always have days or PTO or whatever. I'm like, I need a week, what am I going to take that? But if I use like 30 minutes a day or whatever, an hour during my lunch break, you can have time. So I love that.
Yeah.
So on the opposite end, what's one goal that you have set and it didn't work out?
Probably, I don't know. I'm pretty much a goal-getter.
Okay. We love that. Well, do you have a goal? What about maybe a goal that you're scared to achieve? Do you have a scary goal?
I would say just being really super vulnerable. I don't know why, but the biggest goal that has been consistent since I had children that I haven't been able to achieve is probably taking care of my health. So I'm not really sure why I put that last, but that is a goal that I have, to be more healthy. But when you're constantly like putting out fires, which that's just an excuse, really. But when you're constantly putting out fires, sometimes at the end of the day, you just don't have any energy left for yourself.
Yeah.
But my last child is about to leave the house.
Period. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to be a senior in high school next year. And I really want to see grandchildren. And so I'm a lot older than I look, but...
I think somebody, man, you don't even look that old, so that's good.
I'm a lot older than people tell me all the time. And if I was thinner, you really wouldn't be able to tell what age I am. But I do want to not only see the birth of grandchildren, but run around and play with them and take them to the park, and I want energy for that. So, you know, I guess I have been able to achieve all of my professional goals, which is why I kind of stumbled on that question a little bit. But personally, I need to get in better health.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, and I definitely feel you too. I do feel like it's kind of hard because even right now when I'm trying to do this podcast, it's like the gym art podcast, the gym art podcast kind of, it's like at the end. So I try to do it in the beginning of the day, because then you wait to the end, you're so tired, you're so exhausted, and then just being a woman, you know, y'all listening to this, like when you get on your cycles, you like, I don't even want to work out, like I just want to sleep, and I feel like I just be getting tired more. So I definitely understand what you, and I feel like I have that balance too. Well, I have a struggle too with that, and just giving my body grace, because it's like I've been recording these podcasts, and it's like, well, this hour, this editing, I can't go. So I definitely understand that, and so I just like, you just gotta give yourself grace, because I'm like, well, you know, I'll try to at least try to walk like 30 minutes. I was like, let me just walk, but now we got coach, I'd be freezing. So I was like, but it's funny because I love, like, I actually don't mind going to the gym. It's just the fact of driving, getting in. I'm like, dang, I can record this podcast. I'm like, I record podcasts, work with people's schedule and stuff like that. And I'm a gym girly. I'm a 5 a.m. gym girly, really, but it's like recording podcasts till 9 o'clock at night or something like that. I don't always have that energy, so I definitely understand. So if y'all have some tips, you know, share it in the comments, because that is definitely something that is kind of hard to balance when you have that goal, like your professional goals. You're like, oh, I got this, but it's like personally, you know, it's like discipline, or like how you take it, like when you were saying like, okay, I'm gonna just walk 30 minutes. Like I just be like putting that in my head, like, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna do that, but I'm like, that's not really the hard part. The hard part is figuring out the time, what to eat, to do this. That's the hard part. So I definitely understand that. Love that. When you were younger, did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And so I think, and her mom was an entrepreneur. And so I think that it's just like a mindset that's passed down. And there was even a story run on me on the news, which that's so ironic. That was on Wave News when I was like 10 years old, I think. And I was on Wave News today announcing my new book, at the time. So that's just a little coincidence. But when I was like 10, a news reporter came to the house because she lived down the street from us, and I had put these little flyers on people's cars saying that like I would sweep their house for like 25 cents or something, which I know that sounds crazy, but back then you could get like a lot of stuff for 25 cents. You could.
We need to go back to those days.
Get like a whole bag of candy, like a paper bag of candy, like this big for 25 cents. But anyway, and you know, if I had swept like 5 or 6 people's homes, I'd end up with a couple dollars. But anyway, but yeah, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I think it gives you the most flexibility in life. And there are definitely lots of challenges being an entrepreneur. But if you really want control of your life and your time, which is invaluable, I mean, that's the one thing you can never get back. You can lose money and get money back. You can lose a home and get a home back. You can lose a car and get a car back, but you can never get back time.
And that's why I hate people waste it.
Yeah, I know. And so that's, I think, the best part of being an entrepreneur is being in control of your time.
That's really good. So this, your third generation is what I was trying to think of. Third generation of being an entrepreneur. That is crazy. What do you mind sharing? Like, well, what was your grandma? What was your mom? Like, what was their kind of?
My grandmother, her name was Tasmania.
Oh, okay.
And the reason her name was Tasmania is because she was the youngest of 11 children, and the 2 oldest boys were named Biggin and Littlin. And so Littlin was an adult, and he enlisted in the army. And he was at sea and was sailing around. I think it was near the bottom of Africa is where Tasmania is. Anyway, he saw Tasmania from the ship. And he wrote home on a postcard, "I've just seen the most beautiful place on the planet." And he said, it's called Tasmania. So they named my grandmother Tasmania, which is funny because after she was named Tasmania, then like Bugs Bunny comes out with like the Tasmanian Devil cartoon and all that. And,
I was like, ooh.
And she was quite a hellraiser. She was, but her company was. So you have to remember, this is like the 50s and 60s when Black people couldn't even be secretaries. They were not trusted to be. Were not trusted to be secretaries. They back then were not trusted to be secretaries. They weren't trusted to keep calendars, be an assistant, answer the phone, to be articulate. And so my grandmother founded an actual college, which colleges, had different standards back then, but it was a business college.
Okay.
Much like Sullivan or, and so she had her own business college, and we even have at our house, just like you have like a college profile with all the pictures of people graduating, and the president and everybody at the top, we even have several of those classes at the house. And then my mother founded a theater company here in the 80s, which was very prominent, called Kentucky Contemporary Theater. That it got a lot of news and buzz. And of course, both are kind of sad situations because there's not a lot documented about them. I mean, we have some documentation, pictures and playbills and things like that, but there was no internet. So you can't just Google,
about it.
Texas Southern Business College is what I believe it was called. So you can't just Google Texas Southern Business College. You can't even Google Kentucky Contemporary Theater. So there's just not a lot out in the world about it, but it was real, and they made them work, and that is where my drive comes from.
So maybe you could keep their stories alive. Maybe you could share more about it. That's really cool. Funny thing is, I was like, I'm gonna start at school. I'm gonna have the first one in school. Then I found out as I got older, I was like, there are just women colleges.
I went to one. I went to Bennett College.
Oh, you did?
So there's two Black HBCUs, two Black schools for women in the country. There's only one for men, Morehouse. And there's two for women. So there's Spelman and Morehouse are in Atlanta, and then Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina. And my mother went to Bennett. And I ended up going to Bennett. Okay,
that's really cool. And then I was like, okay, well, I won't be the first one because then I heard about Spelman, so I was like, okay, I didn't hear about Bennett, but it's good to know. But I think that's just cool.
I mean, if you have that drive, you should do it. Simmons College has really had a revitalization, and there's room for HBCUs. I know that they're under attack, but they are always under attack. But if you wanted to do something like that, I think that's amazing, because I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but this is, you can Google this and find this out. But like 20 years ago, there were 120 HBCUs, and now there's like 106. I mean, they're rapidly, they're rapidly closing. Don't quote me on those numbers. Go find the numbers before you quote it. But it is something like that dramatic. Like HBCUs are rapidly closing, and it's because they don't get the funding that PWI schools get.
Yes, I do know you're talking about. Some of them are closing just around the country and stuff like that. And that's another. I'm like, it's a lot. So I don't know, but I do have a passion for education. Like that's when I got my degree in higher ed and stuff like that. But it's just kind of knowing the resources and the funding and stuff like that is kind of hard. So that's really cool. Shout out to your grandma and your mom, though. I love that.
Contact UNCF, the United Negro College Fund, because they support all the HBCUs. I don't know. Maybe
okay, I do know about that.
Maybe they would have some insight.
Insight on how to start a school. Period. Okay, let me think of a name for it.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama, period. I need her to come to the school. Okay, period. Yes, I'm cracking up. So if you have any, what TV shows maybe inspired you? Yours sounds really like heavily your family, but do you have any TV shows that may inspire you to be who you are today?
Not really. I've never really been inspired by TV, but I love TV.
Okay.
I love TV for entertainment.
Okay.
And so, I grew up watching all of these shows that were wonderful, but I don't remember being inspired by any. But I know you sent me a question about living single. And I don't know if that's because I posted about it. Okay, I thought maybe you saw my Instagram. I actually posted about living single.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but you have it as an Instagram. So living single, what I loved about living single, and my mother was alive when living single was on, and my mother loved Max. And I think the reason why she loved her is because she was dark skinned, like my mother, and you didn't really get to see a lot of dark-skinned characters on TV who were desirable, who men wanted, and who were bold,
yes,
and had such positive esteem, and spoke their minds and were funny, And so my mother loved her. But what I loved about Living Single was how each person got to live their own life, which is very in line with entrepreneurship. But Living Single was a fun show, full of life, and I just thought it was like the standard for the life that all Black people should aspire to.
Yes, I she was an attorney too.
Yeah, she was an attorney, but the friendships and the dreams, Queen Latifah's character, Khadijah.
Yes.
Khadijah had her own magazine. So that's very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And she had lots of ups and downs with that. But, there were also, they had tiffs, but, there wasn't like a lot of conflict. And, we just don't get to see that a lot. Like, I love Girlfriends too. I love Girlfriends. But they had a lot of drama.
They did. I feel like with Living Single, the more drama came from like career, like Khadija, like where she was like something happened, the printer messed up. This like it wasn't
normal.
Conflict. Yeah, it wasn't conflict like in the friendship versus theirs was like it was
like you would wonder, like with Living Single, you knew they were always going to come back and be friends with girlfriends. You was like, I would never talk to her again.
Okay, that's funny.
Tony was a hot mess.
Tony was a bougie hot mess, very, very much so. But yeah, I like that. Yeah, because the show's about, well, not the shows, but like in the day we do talk about like shows that relate to it. So that's why I have Living Single just as one of the shows.
Oh, I thought you actually did it on my Instagram.
Oh no,
but A Different World. I was already HBCU bound before that, I believe. But I hear so many people talk about they went to HBCU because
of Different World. It's funny, I never watched Different World, but I'm watching it now though. Like I'm watching it now. Yeah, I don't know when it came on. When it came out. I don't think. Or it might have been already gone when I was watching because I'm a little younger. So when Different World's out,
I know you're younger because you got Proud Family up there, and that missed me. So.
Yes, it was from it's from girlhood to womanhood. So that's it's the 90s baby. So that's why I love the Proud Family. It's so funny. Okay. Speaking of that though, did you feel like you had to like move to a big city to chase dreams? That's what the Living Single. Yeah. Did you feel like you had to move to New York or LA?
No. I would have loved to have moved somewhere, but my daughter was here with my family, so I had a daughter in the middle of college, and my mother and father were just wonderful, and they raised her while I finished school, which was a complete blessing because. Not that I would have resented her, I don't know, because I didn't have to experience that. But, if I felt like she interrupted my college career, which obviously wouldn't have been her fault, but because my parents, you said, we'll raise her so you can finish because I was doing so well in college, I felt like, I missed her, and I felt like I still had a chance to have this opportunity and my freedom, and I really excelled. Like after I had her, I got 4.0s.
Okay.
Because I was determined.
Yeah.
In fact, people make fun of me because it would be like 9 o'clock at night and people would still be like running around the dorm and stuff, and they would make fun of me because I would be asleep. And I would be like, I'm here for a reason. Like, you all are here in college to like have fun, and I'm here to handle business. Yeah. So I came back home, and I had all the support, just like.
Oh, you left North Carolina.
I went to school in North Carolina, had my daughter. My daughter stayed home here in Louisville with my parents. I went back to North Carolina and finished. Then I came home. And I went to graduate school at University of Louisville, but I can't really see, go Cards. I can't really see how I would have finished or gone to graduate school anywhere else because I needed this.
That's support in that community. It's like, having a kid by myself in New York, I don't know about that one. I see what you're saying.
But the sad thing, since we're talking about small town girls, the sad thing is as a therapist, every single young client I have, I'm not joking, I'm serious. Every single young client I have from Louisville their number one goal is to get out of Louisville.
Yeah.
Everyone. They're not happy here. And I think it's because Louisville is small-minded, you know. And, I mean, Louisville's my hometown, you know, and I founded the Louisville Book Festival. Obviously, I care about the community, so I don't mean to disparage the community, but it's a fact. Louisville has got to do something to address the future opportunities for youth because they don't want to be here. Young adults do not want to be here.
And I can answer why young adults don't want to be here, considering I'm a young adult. This is just my tangent. I feel like they don't cater to the young adult profession. Like I was just talking to somebody else earlier. I was like, they cater to families, people who have kids here. Like every time you see something, this is not funny, like a festival, this is that. Like it's kid friendly. I'm sorry, I don't want to see all these kids. Just sometimes, but it's like it's kid friendly. But it's like it's so much like family stuff here. There's not anything to do. And so I used to live in Atlanta, so I do talk about that. I don't really like Atlanta. But people go to Atlanta because there's so much things to do there. It's like, I don't know how many times do we just want to go to the same bar, same club, or just like have things to go to that's not even like an arcade or this like that. Like there's nothing here. I mean, unless you want to go to restaurants all the time. And then also they don't pay that much. Like this is a grant funded city, and that's just me from seeing what I see. Like there's not that much income coming in here. So it's just like people have to move out or go other places because there's not that much income and there's not that much to do.
Yeah. And there are people trying to do things. I have definitely heard of us trying to do things. And then us kind of complaining a little bit that we're not supported more. And I think the problem is that Louisville is exceptionally segregated. It's very, very segregated. And Louisville has not embraced a lot of new opportunities. So, you know, when I founded the Louisville Book Festival, I was shocked when I went to go get the website, LouisvilleBookFestival.com. I was like, seriously, nobody has this yet? Because every big city has a book festival. Boston Book Festival, Miami Book Festival, Atlanta Book Festival, San Antonio Book Festival. I mean, they're everywhere. But we didn't have a city book festival. Lexington has one, and they've had one for 40 years. But I went to go get LouisvilleBookFestival.com, got it with no problem, got all the social media accounts, Louisville Book Festival. I was shocked. And when I would say that to people, they'd say, well, you know, Louisville's always 10 or 15 years behind everybody else. And so I challenge anybody who's listening that has a dream to go for it and make it happen, because it hasn't been an easy road. I've been dealing with the book festival for like 9 years now. We're about to have our 7th book festival. And it hasn't been easy, but Louisville is a place where you can maybe experience something in Atlanta and bring it here because we don't have it.
Yeah, somebody did that. One of my dreams was somebody did that. She seen something in Atlanta, but the thing that she came back and she brought it here. That's what I'm trying to do, but it's not working for me too well because I'm like, media's behind here too. Like podcasting, and I can see it, but it's also like I don't have the funding. Like I would love to open like a podcast studio, but where's the money coming from, right? And then you have to have people to be able to pay for the podcast studio. So that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, if people can't pay for the podcast studio because they don't make enough money, then it's kind of like, well, where do I go from there, you know? So I definitely get the 10 to 15 years behind, and then it's like, what is there to do? But so many people see Atlanta, Chicago, so like they see those places, and then that's where they go, and it's like Louisville definitely is segregated. And definitely, like, it's hard. And honestly, they be doing too much pow here for me, for real. That's just be honest. I'm like, it's too much going on, and it's sad at the end of the day. And so I feel like that kind of goes into it. You have people moving in, but you have people here, and then...
Well, sadly, the pow is an American problem.
Yeah. Well, it's an American problem, but when you see it, like, I don't know, when I was in Atlanta, I never really seen too much about it. But it'd be like at clubs, at this, at that. That's what I mean by that. It definitely is there's a gun control problem in America. But when you want to go out and have fun, and then there's violence, or like somebody pow somebody like at a bus stop, like that's crazy. Like that's just crazy, and that's sad. And so I kind of feel that some people feel unsafe here. But
I think sadly most American major cities do have that as a problem. I
don't know, but I guess that it's so sad. So I think of all that. But I do think about like fun things that people can do, and I just feel like it's kind of hard. Like I don't know. I tried to do a dinner, and I was like, "Hey, do y'all have fun?" They couldn't even find People don't even have spots for 10 people in restaurants going down. It's like, so if you want to have a party event, it's just like you can't even sit nowhere for 10, 20 people. I'm like, this is so horrible. It's so sad.
We're still very much a small town, which is crazy because, you know, Louisville operates like it's a big town because we're the biggest city in Kentucky. You know, which to be the biggest city in the state, you know, that sounds like a pretty big city, but most people will tell you Louisville's still very much.
Louisville's bigger than Lexington?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I usually have a lot of farms, a lot of farming space, and I did not know that.
Louisville is bigger than Lexington. Louisville's the biggest city in Kentucky. But we, even though we're the biggest city in the state, we are still very much we're
small.
People describe it as a small city or a big town.
Yeah. That's why I was like, this is a perfect series today. Okay. We went off a tangent, but that's really interesting. It's just like to kind of know where we're at and what we're doing. But this is why sometimes there's challenges. There's always pros and there's always cons about where you live and what you do. So I think that's very important as well. And we kind of really actually talked about it because you didn't feel like you had to leave, or you felt you came back, you had a daughter, so you had different circumstances. So I did kind of say it was like what made you stay in a smaller city. So it's coming back, it was your daughter, so you can go to grad school. So support. What did you get your degree in at from U of L?
First I went for counseling psychology. Because I was working for the state as a child protective service worker, and that's actually where I met my husband. We were both child protective service workers, and the state was paying for people to get master's degrees. So I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Obviously, they prefer you get a social work degree, like a master of social work, but they didn't mandate that at the time, and I wasn't sure I wanted to be a social worker forever. So I got a master's in counseling, which was lucky because that's how I ended up being able to become a therapist. But later I went back to U of L also and got my law degree. And University of Louisville used to have night school. And I hate that they did away with that program because people like me, I would have never been able to become a lawyer ever if they didn't have night school, because I would have never been able to stop working my full-time job and just go to law school. I already had a family back then.
So you went to night school that's how you became a lawyer. Okay, look at baby, determined. Okay, I can tell, Jess. That's so cool, night school. And see, that's why I don't believe people be like, you can't date coworkers. See, sometimes you marry them. I'd be like, you gotta get it how you live it, child. I'd be like, what? Okay. That's cool. But well, not U of L, like the state paid for your master's. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta use it for what they got.
I know. It's like I'm taking advantage of everything they have to offer, because when you think about your salary, so this is totally off the subject, but kind of not. I've asked several therapy clients over the past few months. I think I'm worried about the economy and stuff, like what their salary is. They don't know how much they make a year. They know what they make an hour. You got to figure out how much you make a year. You need to know that so that you can set goals. You know, you calculate, you think you're making $18 an hour, like you roll, and then you find out you're only making $25,000 a year, which is not enough to live on. You know, and so I've challenged the people I work with, find out how many hours you're working, how much you're getting paid an hour, and times that by 50, 52, 50 if you don't get paid vacations. And it's just shocking to me that people don't know their annual salary. And so the reason I got on that was because as a child protective service worker, I figure out what my annual salary is. And then I added stuff to it, like if I put it in my 401k, the state matched it, so I added that. So let's say my salary was $25,000, and then the state's matching like $3,000 a year, and so it's $28,000. And then I added my my graduate school tuition, which I don't remember how much that was back then, but let's just say that was $6,000. So now I'm making $34,000. So when somebody lures you away with this job over here, can you give me all these benefits? And add all that up, because a lot of times people will leave one job for another and actually come out worse.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah, that's funny, because my coworker, she's like taking advantage of like free schooling and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, like if I go to another job, I have to figure out like am I going to get that extra 10K to cover that? That's smart that you said that too, because even within dream chasing, we want to chase our dreams, but it's like, okay, well, how much is this going to cost us, baby? Mm-hmm. They say black people this all the time, because when I see an hourly, I times about 52 so quickly, I'll be like, times 40, times 52, how much is this?
If you're getting paid by 40. I had one client that found out that she was really only getting paid 37.
Oh, yeah, 37.5 or something.
She was getting 37. 37. You need to know.
Yeah. Okay, they just don't gotta pay no bills.
No, they do. But I think that, the system benefits from us not understanding how money works.
That is true.
Yeah. So they're like, we'll offer you 18 an hour. And you're like, oh, 18 an hour? Like, that sounds awesome. Especially for somebody who doesn't have a college degree. They're like, 18 an hour is amazing, but you're working 36 hours a week because you're working 12 hours. You're not getting 40 hours, and you're not getting paid vacation, and they're not going to pay for your schooling, and all that counts. All that factors in. Like, you got to take advantage of those benefits. So if you ever have a job and they offer to send you to school for free, take advantage of that, because that's not. I mean, that's invaluable.
Really, yeah, it really is. And I worked at a college and I did not take advantage of it. I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
Well, when you're young, though, you don't really know. And I think that's why I'm saying it on here. Maybe we'll reach some people who don't know. But these are not things that are typically shared with us. These are not things that are typically, like, people don't usually give us this kind of advice. Yeah,
even with the benefits, it's so confusing. I'm like, it's so overwhelming. You don't know what benefits to use, what benefits to, and I was saying that in a episode before, I was talking about even with like therapy, kind of like, if you look at it, they do kind of give you like free, like three free therapy sessions or whatever if you use your benefits. But if you don't have that, then you don't know. And so that's great that you said, like, putting the 401k on top of it and stuff, like seeing everything that you have and making sure that you make like a good decision and that you're not losing it. Because I mean, PTO, they can pay you or they not, but if you don't get it, you kind of have to be like, okay, if I get 40 hours PTO, that's like $1,000, something like that if I don't use. But if you go somewhere and they don't give you PTO, it's just like, well, what are we doing? So that's actually really, really good. Because benefits is like, that's a whole thing that you just never know. Every job is different industries go different ways, and so it's just like, it'd be overwhelming sometimes. So
definitely.
That's good. So you answered this, but you can add if you want to. Do you feel like, what are some challenges that you had to deal with being in Louisville? Maybe with you doing the Louisville Book Festival, or you being an author, like, was there some challenges that was specific to being in a small city?
Yeah, Louisville is slow to get behind new ideas. They like what they like, and so, anything Derby related, you're golden. You know what I mean? But like, new ideas, people are very slow to get behind that. And when I founded the book festival, I thought, what is not to love about a book festival? Everybody should get behind a book festival. And I was shocked at the way I had to beg for funding for the book festival. And we do such great things. I mean, we bring in many authors from all over the country. They come in for the Louisville Book Festival, but we also highlight many authors right here at home, like you were talking about. Brittany J. Thurman, who is from Louisville. She's a traditionally published author, a Golden Kite Award winner. She's a big deal. And so we highlight local authors. We want to make sure that Louisville knows that we have a children's book author like Brittany J. Thurman, and we highlight authors that many people would have never even heard of if it weren't for the Louisville Book Festival. We also give away at least one free book to every child that comes to the festival that they get to choose. We also give away a lot of free books to adults. There's so many things that we do. You would just think, who would not be behind that? Yeah. And it's like pulling teeth to get funding and support for that. And I have also run into, and I don't talk about this a whole lot, but I'm going to talk about it on here tonight. I've also run into some old mindsets, some old South mindsets, like, who does this little black girl think she is? Trying to do A, B, C, and D. And so I've had some pretty uncomfortable conversations with some pretty prominent leaders in Louisville. And it's been surprising to me because it's the exact same stuff that my mother went through when she founded the theater company. Because there was Actors Theater here. Louisville had one theater company back then. Now they have several. But back then they had one theater company. And people didn't take too kindly that she found this alternative theater company when Louisville already had theater company. And I ran into some very similar things when I started the book festival, and there was a lot of pushback. Like, people were actually saying to me, like, you're not even in the literary community. Like, how do you think you can do this? And I didn't found the book festival because I was in the literary community. The reason I found the festival is because I was in the mental health community. Books don't just have to be rooted in literacy. For me, books are rooted in mental health. And there's actually a term for it. It's called bibliotherapy. So, there are people who are like, she's not even in the literary community. Really, I still have emails and I have Facebook DMs I saved just in case somebody thought I was overreacting. But yeah, I have a Facebook message where somebody was like, the literary community doesn't appreciate this. And I said, well, I'm not in the literary community and I'm not pretending to be. I'm in the mental health community. And books are heavily rooted in everything that I do. I love books, and that's why I wanted to have something like the Louisville Book Festival.
Yeah, but I'm like, literacy is important across all boards. From whoever that man said something that, like, maybe y'all should have founded it. Y'all should have founded it.
Exactly, and I do think that is part of it. I do think that there were a couple organizations that had planned to do something like that in Louisville. I'm not sure, but I think that's where some of the pushback was coming from.
Is there like she got it first? Well, you didn't move quick enough or something like that. Yeah, because it's like and honestly, hearing that kind of makes me step back too, because I'm like, I want to get in the literacy thing, but my literacy is I want to do it through travel. And I'm like, I'm not in the literacy community. I have worked with children, I'm in higher education, but I feel like that's why I'm like, I feel like it's hard for me to build my author brand because I'm not right in front of the face with children. I'm not right in front of the education.
But you don't have to be.
You don't have to be, but then you hear people say things like that.
But you can't. They're naysayers. You can't listen to them. It doesn't matter what you do. Barack Obama worked his entire life in community organizing. He was in Congress. He did so many things, and it still wasn't good enough. So you can't listen to people who say, you can't do this because, you can't do that because, you can't write books for children when you don't have any relationship with children. Who are they to tell you what you can do? The biggest dream killer is this box that everybody puts around dreams. And if they don't understand your dream, which most people won't, they'll kill your dreams with the box. Because they'll say, you can't do this, you can't do that. And most of the time, it's just that nobody else has ever done it. Yeah. Barack Obama took a huge hit for all of us, becoming the first Black president. He didn't need all that. Yeah. I mean, in Kentucky, somebody in Kentucky just this past week, the chair of the Republican Party in some small county in Kentucky posted a picture of Barack and Michelle Obama on their Facebook page of Barack and Michelle Obama as monkeys. What? Still to this day, they harass these people, and they don't even have nothing to do with us anymore. And you can't blame them. We never deserved Barack Obama. But he ran for us, he became the first Black president, and people consistently told him what he couldn't do because he couldn't. It sounds silly, but you can't wear a tan suit because. And now look at what we have. Yeah. So you can't listen to people who tell you what you can't do. The number one group of people who tell you what you can't do are people who are never going to do that themselves. That's true. The number two group of people who are going to tell you what you can't do, they're going to tell you what you can't do because they're hoping to do it and they're trying to knock you out of the competition. So you cannot listen to, I want to do this, but I can't because you can do whatever. I can't. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's true. I do agree with that. I do think that's really, really good. And yeah, you just have to kind of be like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to write it. I'm I'm going to do it no matter what it is. I know who it's for, and like that's kind of, I have a reason of why, and I have a passion. So don't let anybody kill your dreams.
That's right.
That's basically what this is about.
Yeah.
I love that. So my next question is, you were talking, I was going to ask you feel supported with your family. How about your friends? Like when you were launching ideas, writing, whatever, did you feel like your friends supported you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have good friends that have been very supportive and have come to the book festival and supported that, have bought my books, left me reviews. It means everything when you have good friends who are excited about your next book coming out, or they buy your book and donate it to their child's school or the library. Or I have friends that go around and ask libraries for my book.
Period.
Because if you ask a library for a book, they'll order it for you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I love that little slight plug right there. Who plays the biggest role in your success?
Probably my husband.
Okay. Yes. Is he an author?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's retired now, so he pretty much, he's like, we kind of have reverse roles a little bit. He's like a soccer mom. So I founded a therapy company, which has done really, really well. And that's actually where our main stream of income comes. And so as the therapy company started really doing well, my husband ended up retiring from state employment. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, I have been able to work the way that I have because I haven't had to worry about our children. Because he took my daughter to all of her dance lessons, picked her up from Manual High School at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
When they had late night, she was on the dance team there. And then I wanted to have another child when I realized that my daughter was about to leave. I wanted to have another child. So we have quite an age gap between all three kids. And so we have one child left at home. And my husband completely takes care of everything, takes him to the doctor, gets him to school, packs his lunch, irons his pants, so I run the company and I write books and I work as an author and I travel a lot, and my husband takes care of our kids. So
we love a supportive partner.
And he's wonderful. In fact, in that book, let me see that book real quick. In this book, I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly, but gosh, I would
Is it something about you need your glasses?
Where did I do it? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know.
But there's something in here that I would love to share about him. But basically, there's a story in here about him.
Let's see.
And what I'm talking about is when I was in law school, I was really broken down in law school because it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And lots of people will tell you that about law school too, how hard it is. And I really wanted to quit. And I don't quit. I don't quit stuff. And I really wanted to quit. And my husband said, "You can't quit. We've come too far." And when he said we, I mean, that really did something. I was like, you know what? He's in this with me too.
Yes.
I just have to ask for the support I need, and I have to make it through. But law school broke me down lots of mentally and physically. It was horrible. It really was. But because of him, I pushed through and I made it through law school. And I don't know if he was in my life, I may have dropped out there. I really might have. But when he made me feel like there were two of us more instead of just one, I was able to push through.
Yes, that's why that is really great. Oh, so you went to law school. He was still with the state, but you were with the state too, and you went to law school.
Yeah, I worked for the state during the day.
And then after you got your law degree, is that when you kind of went, did you do your master's in therapy, then you went to law school?
Yes.
So then you left and then you started doing your therapy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the law school for? Was that just a dream you wanted to achieve?
I wanted to go to law school because I was a child protective service worker, and we're really getting off the subject of what we're going to talk about now. But this is something people need to hear because now, as a therapist, sometimes people get pulled into family court and they'll ask me, "Do you think I really need a lawyer?" Yes, you need a lawyer. Do not go to family court when it involves your children, your money, your time, your visitation. Do not go to court without a lawyer, especially family court, because you just never know what's going to happen. And so how I ended up going to law school was because I thought I wanted to be a family court attorney. one time I was introduced at a conference by someone and they called me an overachiever, which I was like, okay, that wasn't part of my bio, but but I understand that I have done a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But two things. One is, I don't think people realize really how short life is. Mm-hmm. And so I've always been the kind of person that's like, if I saw something and no one was doing anything about it, I wanted to do something about it. And I talk about in that book, How to Dream, mm-hmm. you can do anything you want to do if you become the expert on it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't just throw together a Louisville Book Festival. We worked on the Louisville Book Festival for 2 years before we had the first book festival. And so you can do anything if you become the expert. Your faith, your confidence becomes unshakable. Mm-hmm. Because you walk in a room, you know all the questions, you've done all the research. So it doesn't matter what things people say to you, you're prepared. Mm-hmm. The second thing is life is very short, and my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at 53 and died. Oh, so and I'm now older than 53.
Oh, that's great.
And so I have wanted to take it. I've always lived kind of like, what if 53 years is all I get? Mm-hmm. Because I was only like 30 when she passed away, so that had an impact on me. Mm-hmm. So from 30 to 53, I was like if 53 is all I get, I gotta go do all this stuff. Yeah. So back to how I ended up in law school, I was a child protective service worker. I was going to family court almost every day, which is horrible. It's horrible for CPS workers. And if anybody's a CPS worker listening, they already know why. Horrible for CPS workers to go to court. Nobody gets grilled in court like a CPS worker, and it's terrible. But I would see 2 families go into family court. I'm being a little facetious here, a little silly, but it's pretty much true. Both families had broken their child's arm. One family walks in with an attorney, one family doesn't. One family walks out of court with their child, with maybe some counseling in place. One family loses their child to foster care, maybe forever. Because once your child goes to foster care, it is very hard to get that child back from foster care. And the only difference between the 2 families was one had a lawyer and one didn't. And I was so indignant about that. I was so furious that the system relied almost seemingly completely on who had money to get an attorney. Not necessarily in court. They say it's the best interest of the child. You can't tell me it's the best interest of the child when an attorney can go into court and make an argument, but a family can't make that argument.
That system.
And so, you talk about the disproportionate number of Black kids in the system, and it's because Black people routinely walk into court without an attorney. And so anyway, I was so just furious about this system that it fueled me going to law school at night, which was crazy now that I think about it. I could not do it today. And people are like, oh yeah, sure, you could do it today. No, I couldn't. I needed youth on my side to do that. I could not do that today. But I was in law school for 5 years. It's supposed to take you 3 years to get through law school. It's supposed to take night school 4 years. It took me 5 years to get through night school of law school. And by the time I was done with law school, I never wanted to step foot in the courtroom ever again.
Oh my gosh.
Never. And to this day, I do everything I can to stay out of court because, therapists get called to court. And to this day, I do everything I can to stay out of the courtroom.
So it's like now you don't even want to.
It's like traumatic. It really is. It's traumatic because things can flip on you. If an attorney is doing everything they can to try to, for a therapist, the most common scenario of going to court is you see the child and the family, the mom and dad don't get along, and whichever parent is doing right by the child, the other parent doesn't like you. So when they go to court, their attorney will attack your credibility. And I just don't want to deal with that. I don't get paid enough for that. I don't need that. I have no All of my clients that know me know I go hard for every client I have. I'm a great advocate for my clients. And I don't need to go to court and be accused of not doing my job.
Yeah.
I don't need to sign up for that.
So you're right. Yeah. So you never ended up doing the family court as a lawyer.
Well, I did a lot of stuff as a lawyer, but I never ended up going to family court as an attorney in family court and the real reason is because over those 5 years I was in court, I was still going. Over those 5 years I was in law school, I was still going to court during the day as a CPS worker. And the thing that got me the most was the way the lawyers would talk to one another. They were so horrible to each other in court. They would call each other liars. They would say all kinds of things about each other. And I'd be shocked. I'd be like, oh, like watching a tennis match, like, damn, like I thought they were friends, And then they would, after court was over, I would watch them. They would walk out of court and they would slap each other on the back and they'd say, "So Jim, where are we going to lunch?" And I'd be like, "Oh no, no, I don't play like that." So that's how a lot of lawyers, especially trial lawyers, that's how they live. And I just can't. And they understand as trial lawyers that. My contracts professor, I'll never forget him, his name was Richard Noka. My contracts professor would say you have to throw everything at the wall as an argument because you never know what'll stick. So you throw everything, even the most ludicrous arguments, because you just never know what is going to stick. But another thing they throw at the wall is you. They'll throw you at the wall too. Because if they can undermine your credibility as a lawyer, as a representative for the family, as a therapist, as a child protective service worker, if they can undermine your credibility, then the judge won't take into account your testimony against their client. And I don't play like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, well, no, I think this is good because some people might have a dream to be a lawyer, an attorney, or a CPS worker, but I think it's also good too because you had dreams, you achieved your dreams. You're like, oh, I tried this, okay, I didn't like this, and I think that sometimes that happens in real life. Like, oh, I thought I wanted to be this, but then this happened, But it's like you set yourself up. The fact that you got your degree and you're like, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to go to law school, and it's like you literally kind of just put it all out there. So I think it was really good to kind of show how you, progress. Yeah.
But it's all come together. I mean, I use every bit of it.
Yeah.
I use all of it today. And, again, in the book, I talk about becoming the expert. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, you have a dream, you become the expert on that dream. And that is what I think law school did for me, is law school taught me everything I needed to know about how to pursue a career as an entrepreneur, about how to stick with it, and I always look back at law school, always. If there's anything I think I can't do, I just look back at that.
You like, I did that. I can do this.
This is the biggest mountain I ever climbed, so this ain't nothing. This is a hill. But it made me so much more confident. I'm a great orator. I think I'm a great speaker because I'm a great speaker because I got that from my mom, but I got a lot of confidence from law school. But I use all of it. Just the other day, somebody sent me a letter, true story, suing me for $100,000 because I named one of my books, If a Caterpillar Can Fly, and they had apparently written a book, which I never found that book. I always look up the names of books before I write a new book just to see what else is out there. But I just recently released this book a year ago. I just recently released, just this month, a book called In the Meantime, which is all about what we're going through right now as a country. And it's called In the Meantime, Hope, Healing, and Survival for the Tired Heart. Well, Ian Van Zandt, who I love and adore, wrote a book like 20 years ago called In the Meantime. So you can publish a book with the same name. You just can't copy a book. I can't read Ian Van Zandt's book and say, I really like what she wrote, but I think I can write it better, and then write a story that's very similar to that and call it by the same name. You can't do that. But anyway, so somebody had written a book called If a Caterpillar Can Fly, and it was a total like motivational book for adults. Well, If a Caterpillar Can Fly, my book is a coloring book with affirmations in it for kids. It's not even similar.
Yeah.
So again, my legal training, I can represent myself on that.
Period. Period. I was at law school.
Yeah.
Don't play
And
with
I was like, no, you're not writing like, and I don't mean to knock any authors, but sometimes, self-published authors are just doing the best they can. And they asked me to remove it, and if they could prove any damages, I might have to pay damages. And I didn't remove the book. I don't have to remove the book. And I went through all the points about why I don't have to remove the book. And so my law school career for me is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
But above and beyond, like I said, it's the confidence part, the expertise part. I mean, I'm an expert at what I do.
Yeah, that's really good. I do love that. Like you said, you got it from your mom, but it's like the confidence, and you gotta know how to speak. You gotta know how to do it quick. Like you gotta know your stuff in law school. Because I seen the books. I almost went to U of law school, but they said you gotta read. I said okay. They said you gotta read 100 pages a day. I said,
oh, don't be intimidated by that though.
Well, I think I was.
So I'm describing it in the most horrible terms, but I can't think of really, honestly, a better American dream than becoming a lawyer in America. I know my rights.
Yeah, now that is true. That is true. You do know your rights. I was like, whoa, baby, I don't know. But to hear that, it's like you were able to use that. And I do think it keeps on giving. And it's literally day to day. So I think that is really, really cool. You can use that in your day to day life. And still you have your author. So the author thing, was that always something in the back of your mind? Yeah. While you were doing all this?
Oh, yeah. From my 20s, I wanted to write a book. I don't know. I don't remember in my teens if I wanted to write a book, because the bad thing about American culture is we teach writing and reading as a chore.
Yeah.
We don't teach writing and reading for the joy that it is. Every kid I have that I work with, they rail against reading and writing because they think it's homework. They think it's a punishment. They think it's a chore. They miss the joy. Reading and writing is actually a very joyful, freeing act. But we just don't teach it the right way. Yeah.
So no creative writing, just this is how you write.
Yeah. I don't remember being a teenager and wanting to write, and that was probably the reason why. But after I graduated from college, after I went to a HBCU, I had the writing bug bad. And there's something about going to HBCU that frees you too, because you don't have those pressures of being the minority. You are the majority on that campus. And it just pulls a veil off, and so it frees you, and then you want to do things like be creative, you want to write, you want to tell your story, you want to weave your experience in with history and with the future, and it's just very powerful. And so from my 20s, I know that I wanted to write, but when I came home, I had my daughter, I was going to school, there was always something like that. I got married, then I had a stepson too, so I had a daughter, a son, then we had our other son. It just was always something. And so I want people to know, if you want to write, don't wait, because there will always be something. The day that I decided to write is the day that I just put out this poem of 70 words and got it illustrated. And I don't know if I wouldn't have done that if I still would have written a book. I had to do that to be like, I can do this. So don't wait.
I learned that this year, while you're saying there's always going to be something.
There's always going to be. Always.
In my 20s, I didn't think there's always going to be something, but now I'm like, there's always going to be something. I want to do this, like, it's always going to be something. You just kind of got to figure out and prioritize when you're going to be able to do that. It's so sad that there's always going to be something. I hate
but
that.
That's just life.
Yeah, that's life.
Life doesn't slow down, and for us, it's so sad. Isn't it the biggest joke? This is why I love entrepreneurship. It is the biggest joke that we work the majority of our days. The majority of our days. And then on the weekends, we're exhausted.
Yes.
And if we have any energy, it's chores.
Yes.
Clothes, laundry, going to the store. I mean, it never
Cooking.
stops. Yeah, it never stops. And I don't know who set this as a schedule, but our work schedule should not be Monday through Friday. Well, Henry Ford, okay? Yes. Henry Ford.
40
our
hours.
work. So a man dictated what our work life is. And we and a white man, and we and a person who benefited from a whole lot of people working like that. And so this has become American life. This is our schedule, and it's just the biggest joke to get that much time. Yeah, it is. And then we get a week or two off a year. Yeah, 2 if you're lucky. You know,
3 if you work in higher ed or education.
And it's just it's crazy to think about. Like, we should not be working like this. We shouldn't be. Somebody had posted on Facebook a meme that said something like, we could all be naked eating fruit right now, but instead we're working a 40-hour week and paying taxes. You
mean in the wilderness.
Exactly. You know, we could just be enjoying the world, enjoying the planet. Yeah. And everybody could give their gifts. Yeah. Like, I could write a book, you could make a shirt. I could get the shirt from you to wear and give you the book for entertainment. You know, we could all be like using our skills from the land to make and create and barter, and instead we're all sucked into this war of working for someone else's dream.
And that's why I said it was so sad you were talking about it too, because it's like literally I'm like, you get off of work and it's like you don't even feel like pouring into yourself. We were talking about trying to work out, trying to eat. They want you to eat right, pay your taxes, go work out 5 hours, cook this, do, and it's just like drive to work that might be an hour. You got to do all this traffic. It's like it's so much going on, and it just is really not that conducive. I was like, man, working is boring. I was like, all the things that I could be doing in my 8 hours, and I gotta be sitting at a desk. You know what I could do in my 8 hours? A whole lot of something.
It's crazy.
It's not sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be writing, you know?
It's crazy.
It really is. So, what are some things you wish you knew before you started? It could have been writing, going to school, like whatever.
I had a good answer. Do you have an answer? I don't remember now, but it was something, what did I say I wish I knew before I started? It was a good answer. I thought that I had to answer the question before I got here, so.
Let me see what you said. Let me look at it really quick, and then we will see.
If you can't find it, that's all right.
No, it's close. Because you did answer the questions right here. You said not to chase every idea, build one and go from there.
Yeah. Okay. That was a good one. I was going to say, if you couldn't find that, I was going to say that you don't have to ask for permission for nearly what you think you do. But the reason why I said that is we were on the entrepreneur chain, and I think I wasted a lot of time in the beginning. Once the entrepreneur door was open, I went crazy. You know, and that's social media was starting, and that was exploding, and websites were exploding, and becoming a self-published author was becoming easier than ever, because that's when Amazon and Kindle came out and Ingram Spark, and so I was chasing multiple avenues, and I wish that I would have stuck with one lane, mastered that lane, and then gone down another avenue. So I kind of got a slow start on all these different paths, because I was spreading myself thin. And I think I'd be further along if I would have just
stuck to one.
Stayed in one lane.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning that now, so that's good. Really, I'm backing up. I want to ask you this next one. Let's see if you remember it. How do you balance creating content, posting on social media, and networking?
What did I say?
You said I hate all of that. So it's difficult for me. I'm cracking up.
I do.
You said you have a team that does a lot of that for me.
I do hate all of that. I hate this world we live in with content. Oh my God. And sometimes I feel so silly because I'm not 12, you know, and like, I'm like, can we take a picture of this? You know, like, because if you don't take a picture of it, it didn't happen, you know, and it's almost like a resume now. If you don't have on your social media what you're doing, who you're meeting, where you're going, and people don't think you're legit. Like, I thought you said you were an author, and I'm like, I am an author, but you ain't met nobody. You know,
where's your book at?
Where's your book at?
Let me check your Instagram. Well, dang, I ain't got one yet. Right. Why ain't you got one? Well, can I write? Okay.
I don't know no author. They don't have an Instagram. But I hate all of it. I hate it because, first of all, I didn't grow up with it. You did.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with it. And this is gonna make you think I'm really old. I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I've already said I'm older than 53. But I remember when I got hired as a state of Kentucky Child Protective Service worker, we were still interviewing people on Child Protective Service cases and handwriting the notes. We'd hole punch the top, put it in the file would get filed. I remember the day they brought a computer and set it on my desk. And I said, what is that? Now, I knew what a computer was because we did have computers in school, but we weren't using them regularly.
Like laptops.
Yeah, no, there were no laptops. There were no laptops.
It was straight computer, desktop.
And the only reason why a normal person really used a computer is every once in a while, like you type up your resume or something like that. But they used to have these things called word processors, which was in the middle of a typewriter and a computer. A word processor might save something. A typewriter, doesn't save anything. It just types.
I was like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So if you made a mistake on your resume, you had to type the whole thing again. A word processor was like a typewriter, but it would save stuff. If you made a mistake on your resume after you printed it and read it, you could go back to the word processor and type it again. But it wasn't a computer. It didn't have the internet. It didn't have...
Okay.
So when they put the computer on my desk and I said, what is that? I knew it was a computer, but I meant like, how am I supposed to use this for work? So that'll... And I say all this to say, not to make it seem like I'm really old. I say all this to say, my mind doesn't think like other people do. So I am lucky now. I have a team of people that do help me with this stuff. They help me like get podcast interviews. They help connect me to people who write stories about my books. And they post some. They make a lot of graphics and things like that. And it's interesting because when I meet with the team, they have everything online. We use this program called Asana, which has all the tasks and stuff in it. And I'm always like, can I get this printed out? And they're always like, well, it's all right there. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't really see. I can't make sense of it. And they're like, oh, you just click the drop down box. I'm like, well, yeah, I know you click the drop down box, but my mind doesn't.
Like, I need it on paper.
I need it on paper because that's how I grew up seeing stuff. I can't see stuff on the computer. Like, it doesn't make sense to me like that. Like, I need to see it,
No, I understand. I'm like, print it out.
I need to walk with it, hole punch it, and put it in a binder, So my mind just doesn't think that way, and I think that's why I hate all
That's why you hate. That's why you don't like to post. I was going to ask you this question too, because I was like, it sounded like you said you had kids, you got 3-11 jobs. So I was going to say, how do you balance that, like being married with the kids? But you kind of talked about it earlier, talking about how your husband kind of helps with that. But do you feel even balancing like all your roles, an author, a lawyer? Well, I'll put lawyer and like therapist together, but like balancing all that, like how do you feel that is?
I probably could do a better job of balancing stuff. When you're an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, when you work for somebody else, time is money doesn't have the same connotation. When you're an entrepreneur, time is money is everything. And so every moment that I work, I maximize making money. Not that I'm obsessed with money, because I'm not, but money has provided a lot of freedom for my family. And so the more money I make, the more I'm able to do for my family, like maybe get a car for my 16-year-old, or even better example, my daughter was in college and my youngest was in daycare. And I could pay for college and daycare with no problem.
Period.
Right. And so you hear people all the time say, I don't know how I'm going to pay my child's college tuition. This daycare is killing me. And we were paying college tuition and daycare with no problem. And so for me, that has become more important than this balance. So I do work a lot of hours. I work primarily as a therapist. I do a lot of consulting work. So I used to work for a foster care agency called Res Care, and I did a lot of consulting work for them. So that's like where the law degree and all that comes into play. So I have different contracts I manage, but I really love working as a therapist. And then the writing, it's kind of crazy, but the writing never feels like work to me. It never feels like work to me because it's so therapeutic. So when I write, I feel like I'm giving to myself.
Yeah.
But I do get to spend a time with my family. I wish I could spend more. I worked my daughter's whole life away. And I said I wasn't going to do the same thing with my son, and I am kind of doing the same thing with my son, which is why I try to get home earlier.
You did say that. I'm so sorry.
She tapes late.
And
I was like, I don't know. I got to be home by 8 because if I'm not home by 8,
then you don't see him. Tell him I'm so sorry.
So, you know, I try to stick to rules like that. Like when I first started making really, really good money as a therapist, I was working around the clock because the primary times people could come is after work, like the 9 to 5, and then on the weekends. So I was working a lot of evenings and a lot of weekends all the time. And I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do it anymore. You know, if you have to go to the doctor, you're going to go Monday through Friday during the day. So I need you to come to me during those times too. So just putting some limits in place to protect myself and protect the hours I should be with my family. But you have to be real intentional about it.
So that's very interesting because when I did go to the therapist, they're like, oh yeah, I start my day at 1, but they don't get off till like 9 o'clock at night. I was like, whoa, that's late. But then this one lady, she was like, she was doing client meetings at like 9 o'clock at night. I said, baby, I'll be done for at 9 o'clock at night doing a client meeting. So I was like, ooh, but that is a lot. I can't see how it's kind of hard with the therapy and then like the medical. It's like, but it's so much, and it's like people trying to, you know, get their time in when they work. So even that, honestly, like that's a system that works, it doesn't work for us. Like it works to set us up to fail kind of these systems. So let's go and hurry up. What does success mean to you?
Freedom.
Yes. Okay.
Success means freedom. A lot of times, especially when you're an author, people will say, well, how will you know when you're successful? Well, when I become a New York Times bestseller or when I sell 1 million copies. But truthfully, becoming a New York Times bestseller is not going to happen for the majority of us. There are only a few slots for those every year. You know what I mean? So becoming a New York Times bestseller is just not going to happen for most authors. So you have to get real clear on what success means to you. Otherwise you'll be if your whole goal is to be, and I'm not hating on that goal. If that's your goal, set it as a goal and work towards it. But you also have to have some other definitions of success. And I'm looking at your all's vision boards over here. You know, if I can take my family to Europe or to Africa on a trip, that's success. If I learn to love myself and pour into myself and I become immune to the mean, horrible things that people say in this world, that's success. So you have to find definitions of success that aren't necessarily what the world
external.
Because if the world decides to never grant you that New York Times, which honestly for us too, you know, there's way more white New York Times bestsellers than there are black. You know, we're waiting for a majority white audience to substantiate our story and claim it as a New York Times bestseller. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I love that.
I'm not going to ask you to make me successful. So all of my definitions of success are within my control.
I love that. It's like you'll be disappointed, like having external success. That's disappointing because if you don't achieve that New York Times bestseller and you've been working say 50 years to try to get it, so it's like success is internal into who you are. I really like that. That is really, really good. I like that. Having success be internal and being that it means something to you. But that was really, really good. That was our small town, big dream segment. I do have one more segment, but that was really, really good. If y'all like those answers, I feel like that was really good to kind of just see how different perspectives. But you have a lot of experience, so it's great to get you on the couch to kind of just understand how it went, how you was so determined, and how you dreamed, your dreams you're chasing, and kind of being that third generation, you're just I'm motivated, I'm determined. Okay, she was definitely determined. So I love that. I have one more segment that's just kind of fun. You might not like it though, because it's talking about digital dilemmas. So it's all about social media, digital stuff. So we'll see.
okay.
We'll see how it goes.
There are things about social media I do like. I just don't like the pressure.
The pressure.
Yeah.
I definitely understand. Yeah. So because I'm a millennial, we talk about this is about technology a little. This is about myths versus reality about entrepreneurs on social media. Mm-hmm. So it's just a little rapid fire. So basically, you're just going to say if it's a myth or if it's a reality. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you need social media to be an entrepreneur.
I'm gonna have to say myth.
Okay. Dealing. If you're on social media, you're always gonna have trolls.
Yeah. Okay. That's a reality.
Okay. Following equals success or money. So if you have 100,000 followers, that means that you're successful or you have money. Are you? Yeah.
Myth.
Okay. You don't need a 9 to 5. Being an entrepreneur, you don't need a 9 to 5.
I would say myth.
Okay. So they need a 9 to 5.
I thought you said you don't.
So that means a myth. So that means then that's not true. So then you're saying that they do need a 9 to 5.
No. So you don't need a 9 to 5 is reality. I don't know. Yeah. I'm thrown off by that. I do encourage people to keep their day job until they can fly on their own. That's why I was torn on it.
Yeah.
But you don't need a 9 to 5 if you can pay your bills and invest in your business. Then I would say you don't need a 9 to 5 is a reality.
Yes. Okay.
But I've also seen lots of people argue, couples especially, who'll say like, I need to quit my job so I can go out, and it causes a lot of stress on a couple. So you really do want to make sure you have a long-term plan, savings, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I was just saying because on a lot of social media they be like, I don't have a 9 to 5, but I make 6 figures, and so that's kind of where I was getting at it because people was like, quit your 9 to 5. Like,
if you make 6 figures, then no, you don't need a 9 to 5, but you also have to do something you don't have to do at a 9 to 5. Most of the time when we have a 9 to 5, we're pretty sure we're not going to lose our job. Now, right now it's kind of a chaotic time, but in the past, if you've had a 9 to 5, you were pretty secure. So you didn't really need as much savings. You still need savings. But if you are an entrepreneur, that well can drop like that. So you have to have savings if you're not going to have a 9 to 5. Okay,
that's good. Everyone being a 6-figure owner on social media, everybody's making 6 figures. Is that a myth or reality?
Well, I can't say. I mean, I would hope that if somebody said they were making 6 figures, that they really are. I would hope that because that's your credibility, I do think that there are a lot of people on social media saying, I quit my job and now I make 6 figures even a month. I can't say it's a myth because
you don't know.
I would hope that they were being real.
Open.
I do think that there are massive opportunities for entrepreneurship. Like for example, the course industry. Online courses. Which when I was coming up, the only courses you took were like college classes. There weren't really like all of these courses. Now you take courses on like
how to use Canva.
Or you take a course on like do I have imposter syndrome, and if I do, what do I do about it?
And self-publishing.
I took courses like that, And so the course industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and a lot of those people, or at least in the world I see, that are saying they make 6 figures are like coaches. They're courses. And I do believe that's a reality. I do believe that courses, if you can find your niche. So back to the, do you need 100,000 followers? If you have 5,000 followers that are in your niche, that are vibing off of everything you do, and you're speaking to them, like say you are talking about imposter syndrome, and there are 5,000 people with imposter syndrome battled it their whole life, and you're feeling some void for them and helping them work through their imposter syndrome, you don't need 100,000 followers. If you have 5,000 people maybe paying you $100 for a course, that's is that 500,000?
Mm-hmm.
5,000 people times $10 would be 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's $500,000. That's why you don't need.
You don't need 100,000.
You just need the right niche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need the right niche. I was like, maybe I tried to do courses. They hard. Well, I haven't tried to do courses. I'm scared to do courses, but people do good courses because I be buying them.
Yeah.
So okay, and the last one, you have to move to L.A., Atlanta, or New York.
Myth.
That's a myth.
No, myth.
You can be wherever.
We live in such a magnificent time.
Mm-hmm.
You could sell everything you own and move to Costa Rica and make courses from Costa Rica.
You can.
You can do an online group from Costa Rica. We live in a magical time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when I was coming up, maybe you needed to be somewhere like LA or Atlanta because we didn't have the way to reach people like we do on social media. With social media, with Zoom, with Canva, with courses, man, you can blow up from anywhere.
Yeah, just the internet in general has just made it everything more accessible. So yeah. Okay, that's good. I love that. So that was our digital dilemma. Our last segment is basically a digital like postcard segment. So it's just leaving them something like, written, but you have to say something. So what advice would you give someone past just start about chasing their dream if they are from like a small town, small city?
What advice would I give them about chasing their dream?
Yeah, about chasing their dream past saying like just start.
I think the number one question that I tend to get from people who are just starting out is they don't know exactly what their dream is. They know that something is calling them, but they haven't really identified what it is. And then there's all this like angst around, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my passion is. Like I want to do something. I know I want to start a business. I know I want to work for myself. I know I don't want this 9 to 5, but I want you to just breathe. And I mean that. Take a couple of these courses. There's courses everywhere. They're like $9.
Yeah.
I have one called the Hope Reset for $9. There are courses everywhere. Take a few of these courses. There are free groups too, everywhere. Pop onto a free group on Zoom and if you can't find a free group, start a free group. Ask people to meet you at a coffee shop and just talk about your dreams or your community I didn't plan to do the Louisville Book Festival, and I didn't plan to write all these books. I didn't plan to be a therapist. I didn't plan to be an attorney. All you have to do is put one step in front of the other. And your dream, it sounds corny, but it's true. While you're taking the steps towards your dream will also be moving to you. And one day it'll just become abundantly clear what your calling is. So don't lose a lot of sleep over not having figured it out. Treat your life like a course.
Oh, okay.
Treat your life like you're taking a class.
Okay.
Get a binder. Now a lot of people use like their phone and stuff. Again, I'm from a different.
Get your Notion, yes,
I'm from a different generation, and so it frustrates me. I'm just gonna be honest. I've never told my therapy clients this, but when I tell them to like write stuff down and they get their notes app out, and that's because when I put stuff in my notes app, I never look at it again. I have a binder on my desk that has all of my wants, all of my wishes, where I want to travel, all the names of the books I think I'm going to write, the classes I want to take, the people I want to connect with. And I treat my life like a course. And if there's something that I don't know about, I find a class or I find the information online to educate myself about that. And every time I do that, a new dream pops up from that. So don't be too stressed if you don't know what you want to do. Just start taking steps, even though you don't. You're like, take a step where? Go to the library. Say, I think I'm interested in playing the drums. Do you have a book on playing the drums? Just start there, and you just don't know where that path is going to take you, but you got to start.
Okay. Yeah, so I like that. I like treat your life like it's a course. and then you just kind of see where it goes there. But use all the free resources, get you a course or take a course so you can be able to navigate what you want to do. Well, that was really, really great. I love that advice. That's good. Thank you all so much for watching this. That was the last segment. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Tell everybody where they can follow you, get your books, and everything like that.
No, I had a great time. I really do. I really did enjoy as late as it is.
I know. Let's wrap it up.
But you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook under author Dee Dee Cunnings. I'm probably more active on Instagram. The Louisville Book Festival is on Instagram, so follow the Louisville Book Festival.
Do you have a date for next year yet?
We don't have a date because we're still kind of small, and at the Kentucky International Convention Center, they won't let you book until 9 months out when all of their big conferences have scheduled.
That's rude.
Well, it's because the Kentucky International Convention Center is used to dealing with these huge shows that bring a lot of people to town. So you have to book a certain amount of hotel rooms to be able to book more than a year out. It's like a tourism thing. So it's okay. I also think it's rude, but you know.
Yeah, I was just asking if I was going to say to tell them because it's going to be out in 2026. But
just know that there will be a Louisville Book Festival in the fall, and so if you follow us on Instagram, you'll get all the information. Also, we had Michael Preetz this year. Who is the new host of Reading Rainbow, and a lot of people were upset that they didn't get to meet him. A lot of people didn't even know he was coming, and that's because you're not on our newsletter. So get on our newsletter and you'll know who's coming. Not only will you know who's coming, you'll be the first to know. So if there are tickets to see someone, you will have access to those tickets first. So there's a Louisville Book Festival newsletter. There's also Makeaway Media and a Makeaway Media newsletter. And next year, Makeaway Media is going to start publishing books from other people. Makeaway Media has always only published my books. But we're going to start publishing books from other people. So you'll want to be on the Makeaway Media newsletter if you're interested in that. So you'll get that notice too.
Yeah, that's exciting.
When we start taking on other work. But yeah, look me up, Makeaway Media. My books are on the Makeaway Media website. They're also on Amazon. I don't even know if I should say that or not because I know that Amazon is like the dark side now. But they have to be on Amazon because Amazon is the biggest bookseller in the world. But if you don't want to buy on Amazon, I don't blame you. Buy on the Makeaway Media website, but still leave a review on Amazon. It doesn't cost anything to leave a review on Amazon. And you don't have to buy from Amazon to leave a review on Amazon. A lot of people don't know that.
That's good.
So even though we don't shop at Amazon anymore, we still have to play the Amazon game. We cannot be left out of the game. So I don't blame you if you don't want to shop there, but leave a review. It costs nothing and it helps authors. It helps people find your book.
Yes, I just realized I was like triple threat, like Makeaway Media. You have a media company. But your books are under your media company. Okay, yes, and then you're a therapist, and you're like triple threat right there, like period. Okay, I love that. That's so funny because media could be podcasting, like so much stuff under media. That's so interesting that you have that. So yes, thanks so much, and hopefully I can make it to as well next year because I went to the Louisville Book Festival this year. I thought it was really, really great to be able to see all the people. You were saying people come from different places, like from California, Tennessee, New York. Like it was so cool to just be able to see all these people and making sure, like when I think about it, like literacy is important to me, being able to come and just seeing how different people, they have full-time jobs but they're still authors and everything like that. That was cool. And I went to like the self-publishing one because I'm still deciding. I'm really trying to be like my girl Brittany, okay, traditional, but you know, and just seeing that. So I thought that was cool to be able to see. So yeah, if you're an author, you want to be an author, you should definitely check that out. Come to Louisville as well. And if you got this far, thank you so much for listening. Black Girls in Podcast on everything: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are also on podcasting. If you just want to listen, we upload every Wednesday. And thank y'all so much for joining this series. And I will be back next week with another small town with a bigger dream person. So stay tuned. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.